it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Firstly, apologies for the lighting. It's coming up to 6 o'clock, no, just after 6 o'clock in the evening. So the sun is streaming in from my window that way. So I've put my net curtain over it, which helps a bit, but it does mean that the lighting goes a bit bizarre. I've just realised I can open a different window as well there, which will help get the lighting. So, isn't it sad? That's better. Right. Okay, I have to do this balance between having my window, my ceiling lights, curtains pulled back and having this open. So, today's card is using one of our old favourites, which is Crafting Forever. This came out in the last annual catalogue, and it's also the Angel stamp. So it's got the copyright Stampin Up stamp, which means that if you're going to make cards and sell them, you need to put this on the back along with your contact details, obviously. So I'm going to make the same card but different. This is obviously a very soft version, and I use mint macaron, petal pink and soft seafoam with gold embossing. Can you see that gold embossing? I hope you can. It's really lush. I love a bit of embossing. So this time we're going to go to a very different spectrum, and we're going to use Whisper White again, Melon Mambo on a black card base. Don't need either of those for the moment. And I'm going to use Coastal Cabana, Bermuda Bay and Melon Mambo. So first thing to do is to stamp our pens. They come on a single stamp. If you're a brave person, you could cut them up if you wanted them single. I'm very happy to have 3. There are other ways with masking where you can ink them up separately, but for this I'm doing them all together. And, ooh, that's got a mark. Let's do the other side. I'm going to just rub my embossing buddy over the surface, particularly as the weather is really quite warm. It does mean that I've got slightly sticky fingers, and I don't want embossing powder in the wrong place. So this time I'm using silver, and I'm hoping that the curtains will have meant that I don't get the wind blowing the embossing powder, which was the challenge I was having when I did the earlier one. It seemed to be alright. Just need to wipe a couple of specks off, that's fine. Just cover that up because my window is open and I do not want embossing powder everywhere. So, trusty cheese board time. Where would I be with embossing without my trusty cheese board? So just clip that on there, grab my heat tool, and as ever, warm it up first. So, perfect time for me to say, remember we've got 2 promotions at the moment. First of all, we've got our Designer Series paper, buy 3, get your 4th free. That's on what I would call the normal Designer Series papers. And then we've also got our fantastic July joining promotion, which means that you can choose any of the colour collections. You can get all 10 of the ink pads. So let me just check that I have got all of that. I need to do a little bit more just there. So yes, you get your normal £130 of product, but you also get an extra £63 worth. I'm not too worried that this is a bit wobbly. We are going to stick it down. You get an extra £63 worth in ink. So you don't have to do that decision of, I want some ink, but I really want everything else as well. You just get the everything else, and the ink you just choose which colour family you want. Right, so I'm going to, I know these are, you know, pens, but we're going to just accept that they're going to be odd, you know, bright colours. That's part of the fun of crafting, is you can do what you want. I'm not going to colour everything because I think it's quite nice to still have some white showing through. Because this is a water-based ink in the Stampin' Right marker, it means that if you do hit the embossing powder, which of course is now melted, it will resist, so it won't stain your embossing powder, which is great. So yes, I would love to have you join my team. We're a great bunch. We are spread almost to the four corners of the UK. Not quite, just jolly nearly. Right, so this one I'm actually going to colour that pink as well. I did bring in an extra colour on the original, but I think I won't on this one. These are all in the Bright Stampin' Right marker collection, so it's just one collection. I've got embossing buddy everywhere. Right, this is Bermuda Bay. So I'm just going to do every other stripe in Bermuda Bay. So yes, we've got a lady up near Glasgow. We've got a lady over in Essex. We've got someone in, a lady in Surrey. A few round Oxfordshire where I live. One down in Berkshire. So yeah, we are spread around. We do quite a lot of stuff via Facebook, because obviously that way people don't have to travel, and we can save the videos so that people who aren't available at the specific time, sorry about this lighting, it is ridiculous, so people who aren't available at the specific time can catch up later, which is great. The joys of technology. So yes, it would be great to welcome you on board. And now is the perfect time. It also, just going to use the Coastal Cabana now, it also means that as a demonstrator joining in July, you will get the opportunity to try and book for on stage. I say try because it is quite busy getting to on stage, but you will have as much chance as get to go as any other standard demonstrator. The leaders, like me, get an extra, get an additional hour earlier in the day, but everybody else, it's first come first served, regardless of how long you've been a demonstrator. You will also get to come to any events that either I am running or my team leader is running, because we all have leaders, and you also get to buy your products at a discount, so 20% net. But also you will get, because you will not have to hit any quarterly sales until the end of December, you will get to buy from both the autumn, winter and the spring, summer catalogue at a discount, which I have to say probably means you won't have any problem hitting your quarterly minimums. But even if you don't hit them, it's really not a problem. You just get to keep everything that you've bought, and you start to be a customer again. So that's all fine. Right, okay, I'm just going to now add some scribble, because I think it's nice to have ink coming out of the pen. So there's one, then we've got Coastal Cabana over here, and the trick is to try and keep the same sort of curve. So yes, so there's information about that over on my website, which is linked immediately below. There's also information about the Designer Series paper sale. So that's just buy 3 packs of the standard Designer Series paper and get a 4th free, and that's the 4th of your choice. So yeah, lots happening in July. It's almost worth not being in the sunshine. Right. Now on the original, I did add another stamp, so let's do it again. I used the new grey granite, which is a lovely soft, slightly warm grey, which goes really well with the gold that I used. This time I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. Yeah, I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. Now I'm using the Do Something Creative Every Day stamp, and I have mounted this so that I know this is straight on the block. So the words are going to be straight. So long as I have the block straight against the card, then the words will be straight on the card, if you see what I mean. Because it's a round or rounded stamp, it's a bit difficult otherwise. So there you are, nice and straight, which is what we want. So pop that to one side, grab my mat, which is, as I say, Melon Mambo. I'm going to use, purely really because of the heat, a little bit of multi-purpose adhesive, and I really am going to use a teeny weeny amount. I'm going to put a reasonable bit behind the pens. The reason I'm doing that is because on the standard Whisper White, you can sometimes just see a teeny weeny bit of a mark through the Whisper White from the multi-purpose adhesive, but if you put it behind something you've stamped, then that helps hide it. And I'm just going to squish that down properly. I don't know why I'm putting that away. So squish that flat, bring in my card base and bone folder, burnish that, and I'm using just the basic black. And then I'm just going to add a scribble of multi-purpose glue on the back, pop that down, and again press that flat. I do like pressing it from the back. And then I've got these metallic pearls. When you get them, you're going to think it's a tiny packet. There's 242 in here. I must admit, I thought it was the smallest packet in the world until you realise just how squished on they are. So I've used the gold on the original card that I made because I was using gold embossing. This time I'm going to use silver because I've used silver embossing. This one's moved a bit, but it's still perfectly usable. So they do sometimes, on this waxed paper, they do sometimes move about, particularly in the post. So it's just, don't worry if they do move, they're still perfectly usable, they've just moved. So that's that. And that's our card done. Now obviously I would put a white liner on the card before I sent it, because I wouldn't be able to, I could write on in the white, but otherwise, pop a white liner in, but obviously with this one it's easy. So there you are, 2 really quick and easy cards, and look at that, you can hopefully see it in the sunshine, that lovely silver embossing. It's just beautiful, and on this one the gold, just so pretty. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you don't already subscribe, there's a button there that you can hit to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you hop over to my website, which is linked immediately below, where you will find pictures of the products, of the cards rather, you'll find a list of the products I've used, details about the 2 promotions, and you can also subscribe to my blog by email, and also you can subscribe to my newsletter, so you get to hear about promotions early, because as soon as I hear about any promotions I get a newsletter out so that people know what's coming. Thank you very much indeed for joining me today. If you've got any questions or comments, please do leave a comment below and I will answer those there, or drop me an email. Thank you very much indeed. Bye!